Hello. It's the 69th episode of this podcast. I only have one update this week. It's a buzzard update. As you know, I've been giving continual updates on the buzzard population in the central North Carolina area, and especially in the Hillsborough community, which is dealing with a rather large buzzard problem because one house in particular is feeding the buzzards. Anyhow, I've been trying to tell as many people about this as possible. I told my former supervisor about this, who is really into local news, local politics. Now, she reached out to me the other day because her son and his wife were visiting and they wanted to spend the day in Hillsborough. She said, "What should I do with them? I know you just hosted your sister for a day in Hillsborough." And as a joke, I sent her the address to the Buzzard House. Now, this part is not a joke. She, my former supervisor, and her son and his wife not only went to the Buzzard House, enjoyed their trip to the Buzzard House so much that they went back a second time. They did sort of a drive-by, one towards the beginning of the trip, and then before they went back to the airport to fly home, they said, "Let's check out the Buzzard House one more time." So I do recommend it as a travel tip for anybody you may know who's hitting up the Hillsborough area. Side update related to my former supervisor. She told me that while her son was in town, they went through some old cookbooks that she had, and she found an annotated by her, I think, mother and grandmother, annotated 70s Mennonite cookbook with a recipe for prune whip that her grandmother told her was her mother's favorite, which she denied. She said that looking at the recipe didn't make her want to eat it. She said it was pureed and set with gelatin. Then she said, "We didn't rush out and start making prune whip." So I think that goes to show what kind of recipe it is. Okay, let's move on to scents. My trash can smelled like warheads this week because it's hot and Brian's eating Good Pops at an alarming rate, and they are fermenting. The wrappers are fermenting in my trash can and making it smell like warheads, which isn't terrible. I re-wore Le Labo Tonka Truck, which smells like a bug spray, and also, I mean, a lot of scents make me think of this, but this one in particular. Sneaking into your friend's older brother's bedroom that has wall-to-wall carpeting to look at his posters, his somewhat naughty posters, especially if they're on the ceiling. It also smelled like pencil shavings. And then it fades into the scent profile that I like from Neutrogena Rain Bath, which has some crossover with Mugler's Amen. I've been on a wild goose chase on what the actual scent profile of Neutrogena Rain Bath it is that is so appealing to me. I've read a couple different threads about it, and I can't remember the thread that I found on Reddit, which claimed it was allspice. Can no longer verify that. And I might be making this up. Anyway, there are so many Reddit threads with people asking what is it about Rain Bath? So I read them all. Calvin Klein's women's fragrance Obsession is the same exact scent as the amber-colored Rain Bath. It's incredible, said a Reddit poster. They also said that Alchemia Hex is an acceptable dupe. What I like about it is it's like a musky and spicy lavender, clove, allspice, cinnamon, anise notes, but not in a sweet, cloying way, in like a very dry way. Apparently, this type of scent is called aldehydic. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's like a fizzy, effervescent quality. Anyway, I might get a fragrant or a sample of Calvin Klein's Obsession, the women's version, because it has to be gendered. I would say that it's a very masculine scent, so I'm surprised that Calvin Klein women's scent is the same as this Neutrogena Rain Bath. Maybe I think it's a masculine product because it's brown or it's like amber. I think you can still get it at Costco. I rewore Le Labo Eucalyptus to do some work on Saturday morning. I've been working on Journal all week. I'm burnt out. I'm trying to lay out the next issue, and it's killing me. But so I tried to place myself into a sense of work mode by putting a perfume on. Maybe I'm biased, but Le Labo, I think I'm like biased by the brand name. I need to do a blind smell test because I think I just prefer Le Labo, but I don't know if it's brand loyalty or if they really just do make scents that appeal to me because there's something so simple and straightforward about it while also being deep at the same time. They don't overdo it like Fern with 2 Fs. You can tell that Fern is going to be overdoing it because they have an extra F in their name. Eucalyptus, again, pencil shavings, gasoline, rubber, greenhouse, but all in a pleasant way, I would say. Okay, now let's do the big scent. This was my final sample in my last batch. So I couldn't do it blind because I knew what it was because it was the one that I had been waiting for. It was recommended to me by my number one listener because I was looking for a peppery scent. It's the Labo Coriander 39. Official description: Mexico City exclusive. Cilantro, the most controversial of all herbs. Some of us can wax poetic about these lacy leaves, and some of us fervently disagree. Need we say more? Yes, actually, we're pretty sure Coriander 39 will surprise you. With the first spritz, a zing of spicy lime and aldehydic cilantro leaves, coriander in French, set the stage for a quieter, crisp, watery note to peek through. Fresh, green florals enter, then stick around for an intoxicating, musky dry down. It's a sensory experience that teeters between tranquil and vibrant. Think forest bathing in El Bosque de Chapultepec, a piece enriched by call and repeat birdsong, or sipping mezcal in the shade at a hummingbird cafe in La Condesa. Okay, this is my semi-blind review. It's semi-blind because I knew what the fragrance was, but I had not yet read the description, if that makes sense. Pruning a tropical plant or walking through a peppery botanical conservatory. Water. Eating a peppermint patty. Licking a leather shoe. Pith. Using a bathroom after someone else who left toothpaste residue stuck to the side of the sink. I do love the peppery aspect of this perfume. It's something I've been looking for, but I don't like the peppermint aspect that accompanies it. I think that's more present. Initially, it's peppery, and then it fades into a peppermint for me. And then a couple hours later, it fades into like a Prada d'Iris scent. And I'm going to have to pass. Disappointing. I was super disappointed. Maybe I'll wear it again because I do think you need to smell and taste things twice. So I will follow up on that. Oh, here's my last scent update. I kept getting tricked by Le Labo Lee's, because it's so bright and beachy and neroli forward when you put it on. And then when I get in my car to drive to work, by the time I get to work, it fades into very old woman flower scent, but like not the fresh type. It's the peace lily type. Waxy, bitter. Okay, let's move on to the internet. Um okay, so here's a mystery that I've encountered. I'm posting a lot on TikTok because I went through my phone and found all of these old Google Maps screenshots of like crazy restaurant photos on Google Maps. And I was like, oh, this used to be something I would do as a hobby. Like go on Wikipedia and find crazy food photos, go on Google Maps and find crazy restaurant food photos. And people do post those on TikTok. There are a number of great creators on TikTok who post Wikipedia photos, which is my favorite genre of photo. Anyway, I was like, yeah, I should start posting these because they're crazy. So I did. And someone commented, you should do Pennsylvania, in particular, central Pennsylvania next. So I did. And I keep finding square pizza that has one slice of pepperoni each per slice of pizza, one piece of pepperoni per slice of pizza. That seems to be a thing. I cannot figure out why this is. I've been Googling it. I mean, I see like complaints on the restaurant. People are like, they do the old school, like one slice of pepperoni per slice of pizza to be cheap. That's how they keep their costs down. If that's what you're looking for, come here. It's like cheap pizza. Google's AI summary said it's like reminiscent of lunch cafeteria and elementary school pizza. Obviously, it's a cost measure, but what's the point? Like, leave it off. It also maybe is like a guide for cutting. Like, you can tell, like, if you place the pepperonis, you can tell where each slice is. I don't know. I have a 90-day update. There's a character on 90 Day. I keep saying character, it's a real person. Mito. He's a quote unquote famous actor in Egypt, even though nobody can find a movie that he's ever been in. There's a scene where he's wearing a Buc-ee's shirt. I think he's like, okay, I won't get into it. He's an insane person. He's an insane cast member who is dating a 55-year-old woman, significantly older than him. He wants to be a famous actor. He wants to move to Los Angeles. He's living in Louisiana with this 55-year-old woman and her daughter. Anyway, he somehow got a hold of a Buc-ee's shirt. He's wearing a Buc-ee's shirt. And on these shows, they have to blur out any trademarked logos or copyrighted art, as you know. So they blur the Buc-ee's logo, but they blurred it like 1%. It is still fully visible. And it's so obvious that it's a Buc-ee's logo. It's like, I want to like be in the room with the producers talking to BA, talking to their lawyers and being like, yeah, this is enough, right? And they're like, yeah, that's fine. Like, are you serious? Like, why are you even bother to blur it if it's still completely identifiable? It doesn't make any sense to me, but it is funny because you can tell he's wearing a Buc-ee shirt. Okay. I've organized my internet section this week. TikTok. Got some questions before I get into actual TikTok videos. Here's a TikTok question. Why does everybody on restaurant and customer service TikTok say welcome in? I've noticed this past 5 years, Gen Z people who work in restaurants and hospitality say welcome in. Why? Who started this? When I worked in restaurants, nobody said that, and I do not understand it. And it bothers me, and I don't know why. Second question. Why is making pizza for men? As you know, I've been making pizza, so I'm like, let me like watch some people make some pizza at home. It's all men. I've never seen a woman make pizza on the internet. Go to any pizza place, it's all men making pizza. Why is pizza for men? Why is making pizza for men? Would I make a better pizza if I was a man? Okay, this person on TikTok gave a hot tip for cooking eggs in stainless steel pans, which I'm still not brave enough to do. I don't know if I ever will be. Although I cook chicken in a stainless steel pan. I mean, I've cooked stuff in stainless steel. It's not that bad. Anyway, she's cracking eggs into a pan. She says when they stick, just add some water and they will release. So I thought that was a great tip. Add some water and steam it like making fried dumplings and they will release. Okay. Next TikTok video is from Crowded Kitchen, who is a creator that I enjoy. I enjoy all of the things that she makes. She is making homemade Nutter Butters. They look divine. It's 2 tiny peanut butter cookies put together side by side like a figure 8. And then she makes a filling. I don't know. I'm not going to read you the full recipe. It's like a peanut butter cookie, as you can imagine. The filling is natural creamy peanut butter, powdered sugar, milk, vanilla. I'm constantly wanting a Nutter Butter. I don't buy them because I'm scared of what would happen, but I think I need to make this. And I'm going to pause and add it to my food I want to make list. Okay, I'm back. Square pound cakes is my next TikTok person. This person just makes square pound cakes. They have a square bundt pan. There's something about the square shape of the pound cake that is just so appealing to me. And then they cover it in a thick maple glaze or whatever icing they're using, and it just looks divine. I mean, I guess it's no different than just making a regular loaf, except it's all connected. It's loaf shape, but connected. Anyway, okay, I guess this is an ad. I'm an idiot. Old Country Kitchenware is this person. They are advertising the square bundt pan. I mean, they're also saying powdered sugar is their secret for the smoothest, most delicate texture there is. Wow. And that's something I've been thinking about because I ran out of sugar. I confused a bag of, I think, what is it? Psyllium husk? Brian bought a bag of psyllium husk and abandoned it in my baking cabinet, as he tends to do. And I assumed that it was a bag of sugar. So I thought I had sugar. I didn't. And I thought, can I use powdered sugar in my baked goods? You can, 1-to-1 weight replacement. But you do have to consider that there's cornstarch in it. So it depends on what kind of recipe you're making. Last TikTok video. Boxed cake mix and a can of soda makes a great cake. You're basically making a wacky cake. But I didn't know this. There's this TikTok video. Multiple people sent me this video. Craziest hack for boxed cake mix from Delish. Prue Leith is on the video. She doesn't say anything. Who's this guy? What's his name? Casey? No. Who are you? Anyway, it's this guy. And he's saying that housewives, when boxed cake mix first came out, didn't believe that it would work. So the boxed cake mix companies altered the directions to say that you needed to add an egg and oil in order for the cake to work. And then the housewives believed that it was a viable product. I don't know if I believe this. This seems crazy to me. I mean, I haven't done my research on it. So anyway, this guy is saying you don't need the oil or the egg. It'll make a cake regardless. Just add a can of soda, which I've heard of people doing. But he also says that it's a great thing to, if you're donating boxed cake mix to a food pantry, include soda with it so that people without eggs or milk or oil or more expensive items can make a cake. Great tip. Okay. I have one internet update from Instagram. Someone from the greater Chicagoland area sent me a recipe for hot dog pasta salad. and said, "Thoughts?" I guess I would eat this. I like that they cut the hot dogs up and charred both sides. Not charred, fried both sides. And this really isn't very different from the pepperoni pasta salad that I made the other week. I mean, what's the difference at the end of the day? Who is this creator? Carolina Gellin? Carolina Gellin. Looks like cucumber. I don't know about cucumber and pasta salad. I just don't like cucumbers. Cucumber, corn, red onion, sun-dried tomatoes, hot dogs, and then cherry or grape tomatoes, and then a dressing. I mean, it looks pretty good. Ooh, and she has like these old pasta bowls that my mom had in the 90s. What is that? They have zigzags all over them, like hand-painted zigzags. That's bringing up a memory for me. I probably won't make that. I can't remember. I think the last time I bought hot dogs was when Brian decided to light a big fire. I think he must have been burning stuff, not trash. I have burned trash before, but not. He was burning debris, which is very common around here. People just burn debris in their yards, like green debris. What? I'm having a stroke. Like yard waste is the term, I guess. People burn their yard waste or whatever, branches. Brian was burning a bunch of that. And he said, "Well, I'm going to burn a bunch of stuff, so why don't you go buy hot dogs?" So I bought hot dogs. I bought Ballpark Franks for the first time in my life and marshmallows. And we sat all day and ate a whole thing of hot dogs and a whole bag of marshmallows. And that was the last time I bought hot dogs. Last internet update is in the Arthur Schwartz category. In last week's episode of his podcast, he said that all limoncello is terrible and you should just make your own. And it's easy. So maybe I will. It does make me feel better because I try to do a fair amount of research and purchase a good quality bottle of limoncello for my lemon tiramisu. And I still thought it was disgusting. So I'm glad I just didn't pick the wrong kind. I think they're all disgusting. Now I have a disgusting bottle of limoncello in my freezer. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Anyway, let's get into what I ate last week. June 22nd, 2026. It was a Monday. 8:30 a.m. Counterculture coffee with half and half. Made at home. 10:30 a.m. Fried leftover rigatoni and cheese with sriracha. 1 p.m. A pour of Health-Ade Cayenne Cleanse kombucha, a soft-boiled egg, and a locker tortina. 5:30 p.m. Fried green tomatoes with Kunzler bacon, cheddar cheese, burnt jalapeno cream cheese, and Mount Athos fire sourdough toasted in bacon fat made at home. 6:30 p.m. Rum cake with Bluebell vanilla ice cream made at home. I finally made Brian's proclaimed favorite cake, which he's never had before, but he has, as you remember, he has proclaimed that rum cake was his favorite cake. And I felt bad that I didn't make it for him on his birthday. So my former supervisor recommended the Bacardi rum cake recipe because it is of the time. People were making rum cakes, in the 70s, the 80s. So the Bacardi rum cake, this is the classic rum cake recipe. I'm sure there are better rum cakes, I'm sure. So I made the recipe. After eating it, he said he needs to find a new favorite cake recipe. It's not rum cake. Not sure about the recipe, he said. Not sure about the recipe, not sure about the cake as a concept, he said. And that we need to keep searching. So I'm going to keep making cakes. So I made a half recipe because I have a very small bundt pan that I got. It's a German bundt pan from the 60s. It has a 1 liter capacity. A 10-inch, the original Bacardi rum cake recipe is for a 10-inch bundt pan, which is about a 2-liter capacity. Let me read you the recipe. 5 stars, 203 reviews on food.com. This Bacardi rum cake is lovely and moist. I usually make it around New Year's. Makes a nice looking dessert for a buffet, and the taste is rich and wonderful. From a magazine ad many years ago. It does look beautiful. Nice and dark on the outside. But I think when I eat a bundt cake, I'm used to it being a coffee cake. And that's what I wanted. And so the rumness of it all made me disappointed. Okay. So it's a cup of chopped pecans or walnuts. I use pecans. 1 box of yellow cake mix. 1 package of vanilla instant pudding mix. 4 eggs. Half a cup of cold water. Half a cup of cooking oil. Half a cup of dark rum or rum. Glaze. Half a cup of butter, 1/4 cup of water, 1 cup sugar, half cup dark rum or rum. And then you make the cake, as you could imagine. It's pretty easy. One thing I didn't realize, I'm glad I made it because I've always wondered about these old school cake recipes where it's like cake mix plus pudding mix. And I'm like, what does that do? It makes it really rich and dense and moist, which I could see people liking. For me, I like a spongy, airier cake. So it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. The word stodgy kept coming to my mind from British Bake Off. But it wasn't terrible. Just wasn't for me. I ended up eating it with vanilla ice cream, and I wouldn't eat the middle part. I would eat the outsides, though. The outsides were pretty good. The glaze for me was incredibly strong. I used Hamilton Jamaican pot still black rum, which is in my freezer. Anyway, I wouldn't make this again. Moving on. Kunzler bacon, Kunzler. I got this package of bacon from the gas station from this pork producer. That rural gas station that I like up in rural Virginia that sells pork products and local beans. So I got some local pork products from them. One of them was labeled Kunzler bacon, and I thought, oh, it must be a type of cut or something. No, it's a brand. It's a brand name of bacon. And I'm it is a strange bacon. First of all, it's really thin. And when you cook it up, it kind of turns yellow instead of white, which was confusing. It doesn't taste bad. It's like, I feel like they bought a bunch of bulk Kunzler bacon, took it out of the packaging, and then crumpled up the bacon into a ball and put it into a vacuum seal bag. That's what it feels like. Kunzler bacon. I'm Googling it. I Googled it before, but it's just like, Kunzler bacon is a premium Pennsylvania-based pork product crafted by Kunzler & Company, a family-owned business operating out of Lancaster County since 1901. Renowned for its rich, hearty flavor, and this classic bacon is hardwood smoked, gluten-free, and contains no MSG. Okay. Anyway, that's the bacon that we ate. Oh, okay, so here's Brian's full rum cake review at the bottom in quotes. Let's continue the quest for my favorite cake because I'm not sure if this is my favorite cake. And then he realized that sounded harsh and he said, it's amazing to have a rum cake. It's amazing to come home, he said, and to a rum cake. I love the shape of it. I love the shape of it. That means that you don't like the cake. It's incredible. If I went to a restaurant and paid $30 for it, I wouldn't be disappointed. That's an insane thing to say. He did eat all of the rum cake, I will say. So maybe it is his favorite cake. June 23rd, 2026 was a Tuesday. 8 a.m., counterculture coffee with half and half made at home. 9 a.m., a soft-boiled egg. 12:30 p.m., 2 over-easy eggs over leftover fried rice and garlic sauce made at home, and a pour of Health Aid Cayenne Cleanse kombucha. 4 p.m., macaroni salad made at home. 6:30 p.m., chicken breast with lemon, basmati rice, and gigante beans made at home. 7:30 p.m. Rum cake with bluebell vanilla ice cream. Ate a bunch of eggs like a lizard today. I made Hawaiian mac salad using shredded carrots, shredded white onion, diced jalapenos, a pound of elbow macaroni. For the sauce, I did Duke's mayonnaise, apple cider vinegar, sugar, garlic powder, salt, pepper. Pretty straightforward. I tried a new chicken recipe because the only thing that I do with chicken breast is A, make katsu, make chicken cutlets. Obviously, that's the best thing you could make with them. Or B, I make an Indian curry, like a butter chicken. Anyway, I was like, let me do something else. So I actually used a recipe that I found in the cake room. As you know, there is someone who works in the basement of my building who has a New York Times page a day calendar recipe, and he tears off the recipes and he leaves them in the break room. So he left a recipe called chicken breast with lemon. And let me read it to you. Hold on. I got to pull it up on my app. It just occurred to me, I love chili. I could do like a white chili or like a green chili with chicken. That would be good. Brian has declared last night that he hates chili, which I've known about him. It is disappointing. One of the first activities we did together as a couple was compete in a chili cook-off for Arts of Life in Chicago, and we got second place. We made a Moroccan lamb curry with preserved lemon. We made everything on our own. Made the preserved lemon, started it like months in advance. Roasted all our own chilies, roasted all our own tomatoes. I mean, the whole gamut. It was crazy. What was I gonna say? Oh, Brian doesn't like chili, unfortunately. So I haven't had chili in years. The last time I had chili was at a rest stop. I got Wendy's chili and Brian was so mad because he can't stand the smell of it and I wasn't allowed to eat it in the car. I had to stand outside and eat chili. Okay, chicken breast with lemon by Pierre Franny. In this recipe, which Pierre Franny brought into the Times in 1992, is one of his 60-minute gourmet columns. This man has since passed away. I'm adding that. They did not write that. Okay. It's chicken breasts. I mean, here's the thing. These chicken breasts were cut thinly. I should have just made katsu because they were a little too thin for this recipe. They overcooked a little bit. This recipe, you need like a thicker chicken breast. Half cup flour for dredging, salt and pepper to taste, 4 skinless, boneless chicken breasts, about 6 ounces each, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 4 sprigs fresh thyme, 2 tablespoons finely chopped shallots, 2 teaspoons finely chopped garlic, 2 teaspoons grated lemon zest, 3 tablespoons lemon juice, half a cup of chicken broth, fresh or canned, 2 tablespoons of butter. So I made this, except I made it with thinner chicken breasts, I think 6 of them. And I didn't use chicken stock. I used the rest of my Sylvain white wine, and I used a Meyer lemon instead of regular lemon because I have them. I don't know why I bought them. I don't like Meyer lemon, and I'm glad that I hate to say this. I'm glad that my Meyer lemon tree died. Actually, I have 3 of them. One of them is still alive, but I've stopped watering it. I don't know why it's still growing. Okay. And this was pretty good. Would I make it again? Maybe. I don't know. Like I think chicken marsala or something. It's like chicken marsala or something like that. It's fine. June 24th, 2026. It was a Wednesday. 7 a.m. Leftover coffee with half and half. 10 a.m. A soft boiled egg, macaroni salad, and a cup of coffee with half and half at the office. Cake room. A New York Times page a day calendar recipe for goat cheese and dill Dutch baby. Oh, and then I didn't change this to plural, but somebody added 2 more, so I need to change the pluralization on that. And then a recipe for Italian beef sandwiches and a recipe for Japanese potato potato salad with mantaiko. I had to look up what mantaiko is, and I forgot actually. I think it's fish. I think it's like cured fish. Pollock roe. Okay. Pollock roe. It's pollock roe. Whatever that is. I mean, I understand what that is, but I'm not interested in purchasing that or even trying to source that for a potato salad recipe. 3:30 p.m. A slice of mushroom and caramelized onion pizza with red pepper flakes from Whole Foods and a bottle of Brew Doctor mango passion fruit kombucha. 6 p.m. Ponzu chicken and cabbage over basmati rice made at home. 8 p.m. Nerds gummy clusters. Okay. I mean, go back to the Japanese potato salad recipe for a minute. It's a pretty good potato salad recipe base. I don't know if I would source, rare fish roe for it. Maybe it's not as rare as I think, but I've never seen it. So I guess because I've never looked for it is the truth. The best potato salad I've ever made, I kind of just made up this recipe this one summer and I took it to every barbecue I went to in Chicago. It was like, hmm, I wish I had written it down, but it was like a really limey potato salad with bacon and lime. Mm, I don't remember what else. Um, I wore a white shirt on this day, a nice white shirt, thinking that it would be perfectly safe to do so. Just going to the office. Went on my walk and was immediately jumped on by dogs with muddy feet. Um, no hate to the dogs. They wanted to play. They had frisbees in their mouth. They were excited to see me, but you need to leash your dogs in public. I do not understand. I'm in basically a small city, and this man has his dogs running around playing frisbee. I know that it's summer, so there aren't a lot of students on campus, but you need to leash your dogs in public. It's insane. What is this off-leash dog culture? Like, especially if your dogs jump on people? I mean, thank God they weren't huge dogs. And thank God I didn't have an aggressive dog with me. Like, I just don't understand it. It's like so inconsiderate. And your dog could get hurt. Like, you just never know what kind of dog is coming around the corner. It made me so mad. It wasn't even about the shirt. Like, I soaked it in oxygen, like powdered bleach, and got the dirt out, but it's just insane to me. Absolutely insane. Anyway, the Whole Foods pizza was beautiful, so beautiful. I was stunned. Um, I think they hired someone new. They hired an adult man with some sort of European accent. That made me think he came from some sort of pizza making background. Was working, and he was very pleased with the pies, and I was so stunned. I, I felt like I was meeting a celebrity, and I like wanted to tell him how beautiful the pizzas were, but I couldn't. The pizza was great. My faith in Whole Foods pizza has been restored. I made ponzu chicken based off of a TikTok video that I saw, and I'm clicking on it right now. The video says, this is what Japanese people do with chicken. It's like a easy weeknight recipe. Okay, so the ingredients. So this person uses chicken thighs. What did I use? I used chicken tenders. I found 2 packs of chicken tenders that were like 50% off used today at Whole Foods, and I was like, this is perfect. So he does 300 grams of chicken thighs. He adds mushrooms, which I forgot, and oil. And then he marinates the chicken in salt, sake, and potato starch. I use cornstarch, and I use Shaoxing wine, I think. Yeah. The sauce itself is ponzu, sugar, soy sauce, and butter, and then you top with black pepper and green onions. This was great. Did I add an onion? I think I had, like, a little bit of leftover onion that I threw in there with it. Oh, and I added, cabbage. So I did, like, I scaled it maybe to, like, 2 to 3 because I had a lot of chicken, I had some cabbage, I had some onion, but it was really good. I would recommend it. And then I ate the remnants of the Nerds gummy clusters that my sister bought when she was visiting after doing some late night yard work, because after doing some yard work, I got thirsty and my body confuses being thirsty with wanting sugar, which I know is a common phenomenon, and I'm aware of it, but I still want the sugar, although I did drink water as well. Oh, and apparently I'm in the kidney stone belt. Well, I don't know if it's a belt as more of a gradient. Like the further south you live in the US, the more likely you are to get kidney stones. I don't know why, or if I am just automatically more susceptible to kidney stones because I happen to move to the south, or what, but I need to start drinking more water. June 25th, 2026. Oh, well, actually, okay, then I had this thought. Are Europeans like getting kidney stones every day because they don't drink water? Like, what? Anyway, June 25th, 2026, it was a Thursday. 8 a.m., leftover coffee with half and half. 10 a.m., leftover ponzu chicken and cabbage over basmati rice. 1 p.m., late July tortilla chips with taco deli salsa doña and a bottle of Brew Doctor Mountain Ginger Kombucha. 3:30 p.m., a scoop of Jenny's darkest chocolate ice cream. 5:30 p.m., roasted cauliflower and Romanesco with Neiman Ranch Bratwurst made at home. 7 p.m., a scoop of Bluebell cookie two-step ice cream. 8 p.m., an Arcor cherry-filled hard candy. Got this salsa doña, Taco Deli salsa doña at Whole Foods. It was on sale. Discovered it had mold on it when I got home to eat it, unfortunately, which made me feel weird. I did scrape the mold off. It was only on part of the seal, which is still not a good sign. And I felt like it tasted a little bit bitter, like it had turned a little bit. I ate all of it. Brian was housing it like there was no tomorrow. He cannot eat salsa for the life of him without dripping it all over the place. So my whole kitchen is spicy. This is a super spicy salsa. Anyway, neither of us have been sick from it, so I think it's okay. The late July chips were nice and salty and it had nice big bubbles. They're both on sale. Mountain Ginger Kombucha. It's okay. It was not very carbonated. The turmeric aspect of it is a no for me. Turmeric tastes like dust. Jenny's darkest chocolate ice cream. I grabbed a pint of Jenny's because I think all Whole Foods ice cream is 50% off. At least they were having a partial frozen treat. I hate that word. Frozen ice cream items were 50% off. I think this is like Whole Foods wide, or I don't know, maybe like their freezers went down at the store. I don't know what's going on. That's the only time I'm willing to risk driving an hour with Jenny's in my car if it's 50% off. I'm not paying $9 for a pint of ice cream that's going to melt by the time I get it to my house. So I got a pint of the darkest chocolate ice cream, which was pretty good. It's just chocolate ice cream. It's still not as good as the chocolate gelato that I had once on a hot afternoon in Milan when I was 16, which is the benchmark for me. I've never had as good of a chocolate ice cream experience or chocolate gelato experience than that particular place. I wish I remember the location. It was just like the deepest, darkest chocolate experience. And I had had gelato in other places in Italy. It didn't compare to this place in Milan. And I know that it's hard to compare ice cream and gelato because ice cream has more air. So the Jenny's has more air in it by default, so it's not going to be as good as the gelato. I don't but I also wonder if it was like a place and time experience. You know how some things taste amazing because of the place and time and the general experience? It's like when you're at a winery and you think the wine is so incredible and you bring it home and it doesn't taste the same. I think it might be a little bit of that. Anyway, I feel like eating gelato in Europe and other places and not having it be as good as this one place sort of disproves that. But yeah, I don't know if I'll ever catch that high of that gelato place. Um, Arcor. Wait, Arcor candy. Okay, so I got an assorted bag of Arcor candies. If you know what I'm talking about. Okay, first of all, Arcor is like a huge conglomerate that makes like agricultural products and packaging products and food stuff, but they make those old woman strawberry candies that have a filled center and the wrapper looks like a strawberry, if you know what I'm talking about. I wanted to refill my candy bowl because I'm elderly, and thought I would get an assorted bag. Now, unfortunately, I was hoping that the assorted bag would have like the pineapple would look like a pineapple, the strawberry would look like a strawberry. No, they have a different packaging and it just has a little picture of the fruit that you're eating. Actually, let me look at them. Um, okay. Okay, so I have the candy in front of me. We have what? Okay, pineapple, cherry, which tastes sort of medicinal, orange, lemon, strawberry, of course. Any others? Sort of pretty basic. I guess that's it. Okay. Well, anyway, I was like, what's going on with Arcor? And I Googled it and did not know. Well, first of all, here's what led me on this goose chase. I was like Googling the strawberry candy, and nobody ever refers to them as Arcor strawberry candy. Like there's no brand association with these strawberry candies, but they're ubiquitous. And it's like, why isn't there a strong brand identity with this product? So I had to Google it, find out it's Arcor. They're And as soon as I found out it was based in Argentina, I was like, that kind of makes sense. Their logo looks very South American corporation logo. It's very generic and like, I don't know, it reminds me of like a baby formula but also like an industrial product logo at the same time. Um, Argentine food company specializing in confectionaries, founded in 1951 in Cordoba, sorry. It specializes in the production of foodstuff, sugar, and chocolate confectionaries, cookies, and ice cream in 39 industrial plants throughout Latin America. It is the world's top producer of hard candies and the 10th biggest confectionery manufacturer overall. In Argentina, Arcor is the largest producer of processed foods, and its products are exported to over 120 companies. Created by Italian immigrants, the Pagani family. And I guess, I mean, maybe we're eating Arcor products and we don't even realize it. They make alfajores, which I love. Um, Man, they have a lot of products. Their Wikipedia page is bumping with products. But I don't know. I just would have expected that like such a popular candy would be referred to something other than that strawberry candy. Like, it's just like a missed opportunity, but at the same time, it seems to be selling well enough that they don't really need to brand it. It's very confusing to me. I don't understand what's going on. Anyway, um, also, it's, like, scary to me what else they make. Like, I'm sure they're just, like they make agricultural products. I'm like, "Are you manufacturing pesticides?" Like, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, um, June 26, 2026, it was a Friday. 7 a.m. Counterculture coffee with half and half and a hard-boiled egg made at home. Cake room. A New York Times page a day calendar recipe for citrusy roasted salmon and potatoes. 1 p.m. A Cajun chicken sandwich, cheese curds, and hush puppies from Cookout in Oxford, North Carolina. 3 p.m. A handful of Milton's salt and pepper crackers. 5 p.m. Shrimp lettuce wraps, half of a pork egg roll, half of a vegetable spring roll, red curry, Penang chow, kueh tiao, and drunken noodles from Ni Asian Kitchen in Wake Forest, North Carolina, and a pour of harp lager. 6:30 p.m. A small scoop of passion fruit tiramisu made at home. Went into the office today. No idea why. We have summer Fridays. Went in for a half day. I was deciding between Taco Bell and Cookout for lunch. Ended up getting Cookout because I wanted that Coke Zero product. I don't want a Pepsi product. Plus, at Taco Bell, I never really know whether or not to get 2 or 3 items. 2 doesn't feel like enough. 3 feels like too many. The Cajun chicken sandwich at Cookout was kind of bogus. The chicken was decent quality, but it slid all over the place, and I basically had a whole hamburger bun left over by the end of it and a full tomato slice. The hush puppies were on the drier side, but I really wanted a donut. I still had the square bunt cake that was iced stuck in my head. I had that stuck in my head. I really just wanted to bite into something that was iced. So I needed hush puppies. Cheese bites were amazing. So I ate Cookout, and then Brian was like, "I'm coming home early. I'm getting Chinese food. What do you want?" I was like, "This is not good." But he sent me the menu for this place that he's obsessed with called Ni Asian Kitchen. This is where he orders 4 gallons of egg drop soup whenever I'm out of town by accident. He's been here multiple times, and I've tasted the curry from here before, and I'm like, "Okay, like, Brian's obsessed with this. Brian thinks that this is the best place in the world. I'm starting to question whether or not he's been to a real Thai restaurant because I haven't been to this place, so I don't know exactly what's going on. I think it's a Chinese place that has Thai options, which usually indicates that it's not great Thai food. It's like, yeah, we'll make other types of Asian food, but it's not our specialty. So it's kind of like sloppy, gloopy noodle dishes that we got that are like Thai reminiscent of Thai food, but like not authentic. I think I'm spoiled because I had access to so much great Thai food when I lived in New York, and this was not it. He said it's when he went to go pick up the food, it was busier than Target, which I don't know what Target he's going to, but I've never been to a busy Target. The curry was bad. The curry tasted off. It was very fishy and sour, but not in like not like I'm being mean, but it wasn't a good curry. I've spent over a decade figuring out how to make Thai curry like the restaurants that I ate at in New York because I would eat it multiple times a week. And I became obsessed with it. And now I can emulate it at home. So to pay money for someone to make a mediocre curry is just it doesn't make sense to me. Um, Drunken noodles, pad see ew, I love those. Um, I love a pad see ew. These noodles were mm-mm-mm. It's like Food Lion Chinese strip mall Chinese, but Southeast Asian. Anyway, sorry to shit on this place, but what the hell is going on? I mean, it's like if you go in with that expectation, it's like, yeah, it's like strip mall Chinese food, but Thai. It's like, okay, then whatever. But I'm just so used to being able to get cheap, good Thai food in New York or like that. Like, why would you pay any money for bad Thai food? Anyway, um, Harp Lager. I was drinking this Harp Lager that Brian's bought a few times. It's made by Guinness, or it's marketed by branded Guinness. And I dismissed it at first, and I was like, "Oh, what is this?" Like, Guinness is, like, getting into the lager game, like, "Hmm." I tasted it, and I was like, "Oh, this tastes like a German lager. This is good." Like, of course, it's not an American, like, microbrewery lager that's sweet and disgusting. Like, of course, it's good. And the more I drank it, the more I thought, "I bet they got a German person to make this." And that's exactly what they did. I went on their Wikipedia page, Harp Lager. It's been around since 1960. It's an Irish lager created in 1960. Since 2013, it's been produced by the Guinness Brewery in Dublin. Prior to this, it was produced at the Great Northern Brewery in Dundalk. Dundalk. It is a major lager brand throughout most of Northern Ireland, but now rarely available in the Republic of Ireland outside of Dundalk, where most bars offer it on tap. Um, First produced in 1960 as bottled beer by Guinness. That's what confuses me. It's like they say it was produced by the Great Northern Brewery, but then they say it was produced by Guinness. Oh, maybe bottled by Guinness? Okay, that's the difference. In response to the popularity of the continental lager amongst drinkers in Ireland and Britain, Guinness converted its Dundalk brewery into a lager production plant with the guidance of Dr. Hermann Meander, a German brewer. Okay, I guess I don't understand what the Dundalk brewery is. I guess it's owned by Guinness. Um, okay, whatever. It's decent. And then I made a 3-layer passion fruit tiramisu in my new clear, straight-sided loaf pan. So for the soak, I did Hamilton Jamaican pot still black rum, Trappist raspberry jam, confectioner sugar, and water mixed together. Next time I would put a little bit less rum, a little strong. The filling was whipped cream, whipped Crave Brothers chocolate mascarpone, confectioner sugar, pinch of salt. And then the middle layer was a jar of Tiptree passion fruit curd. Now, when I made the lemon tiramisu, I referred to this jarred jarred lemon curd as Wilkin and Sons. When really the brand name is Tiptree, I just couldn't read the cursive branding, so I ignored it and thought that it was called Wilkin and Sons. No, it's called Tiptree. Sorry. I should have guessed that. The passion fruit curd initially smelled like feet, and I was a little bit worried. But the longer it sat in the fridge, the more it sort of mellowed out into a passion fruit flavor. But overall, it wasn't like a strong passion fruit flavor. And I did top it with cocoa powder, top and bottom. Um, yeah, so after eating an enormous amount of middle of the road Thai food, I said, "Do you want some tiramisu?" Brian said, "No." I said, "Okay, I'm gonna have some." I gave him a taste and he said, "Load me up a bowl." So he really liked this. But this was fun. It's fun to make different flavors of tiramisu, but I think it just makes me want regular tiramisu. And I think I'm gonna go back to making classic tiramisu. I think they got it right the first time. Um, Before I went to cook out on this day, I did stop by Walmart because I needed to pick up corn syrup to make black and white cookies. And I could only, I looked in the baking aisle, it wasn't there. I found it in the syrup section. And I could only find corn syrup that said real vanilla flavor. I was like, what is this? So I had to Google it because I grew up with Karo syrup in the house for cooking, for baking or whatever. And it never said vanilla on it, I don't think. But I guess it's always had vanilla flavoring in it. And I was confused why it's in the syrup section. Brian has always told me that his family used it as a pancake syrup growing up, which feels insane to me, but particularly his grandfather's side of the family. And he said that his grandfather would put it over his pancakes and over his spaghetti. Okay, rather, he would eat spaghetti and then there would be sauce residue on the plate. He would pour a bunch of Karo syrup over the sauce residue and sop it all up with a biscuit. And he said that this was something that that side of the family did because when they were, harder times, they would encourage the kids to pour Karo syrup all over everything and eat up every bit of food on the plate. Okay. So I told my mom about this. She was like, "What do you mean they eat pancakes with Karo syrup?" And I was like, "We don't have maple trees down here." So I think people didn't eat pancakes with maple syrup traditionally down here. Apparently, according to every restaurant I go to, they don't eat it with butter. I don't know what they're eating their pancakes with. My mom says my mom insists that I try pancake with Karo syrup. And I said, "I don't know. I think there's a reason why people don't do that anymore." I think that was just like once they found out that maple syrup was an option, everybody switched over, it seems. Because you don't go to or I haven't been to a restaurant or like a diner, breakfast place in North Carolina that served Karo syrup instead of maple syrup, but I would be down to go to one. June 27th, 2026. It was a Saturday. 6:30 a.m. Counterculture coffee with half and half, made at home. 11 a.m. Leftover macaroni salad. 3:30 p.m. Late July tortilla chips with Taco Deli salsa doña and a bottle of Health Aid berry lemonade kombucha. 5 p.m. Passion fruit tiramisu. 7:30 p.m. A pour of Harp Lager. Wow, I didn't write any notes for that day. So, June 28th, 2026 was a Sunday. 7 a.m. Counterculture coffee with half and half made at home. 9 a.m. Buttermilk pancakes with maple syrup and Danish butter, Kunzler bacon, and cherries made at home. 2:30 p.m. Melted mozzarella and Gouda cheese over late July tortilla chips with Texas Pete garlic hot sauce made at home. 5 p.m. Spaghetti with pork ragu and locatelli pecorino romano made at home. 6:30 p.m. Passion fruit tiramisu. I basically had a day of making and eating foods that Brian's grandfather would have poured Karo syrup over. Pancakes and spaghetti. I think I was subconsciously inspired to make spaghetti. So I cooked off more of the Kunzler bacon, which I froze again. It tastes like salami. I think it tastes like salami. The Alison Roman buttermilk pancakes I made for the second time. The first time I made them, they were great. This time they were also great. They were a little bit looser, probably because my buttermilk was super fresh and liquidy this time. And the recipe gives flour measurements as volumetric rather than grams. So it's like, who knows how much flour I'm actually using each time. So there's definitely some variation. And I thought, this looks a little bit loose. Let it set up in the fridge for like 20 minutes. It did set up, but it was still just a little too loose. And the pancakes were sort of like oddly shaped, but still good, really bubbly. Um, I cooked them in butter and neutral oil. And I also made a half batch again, and it was still too many pancakes for two people, I will say. Made a pretty straightforward pork tomato sauce. I never know what to call a pork and tomato sauce. Olive oil, ground pork, onion, garlic, fresh oregano, and fresh basil, just a tiny bit of tomato paste, can of tomatoes. I forget what brand. It's called like Biologique. That means organic. What am I talking about? Garlic powder, and then I added some milk. Uh, Biologique canned tomatoes. I'm just gonna give me Canadian products. I already know it. I don't know. Um. Oh, here we go. Oh, not called that at all. It's called Bio Nature. Bionatura. Bio Nature. They're pretty good. Oh, and I'm using Graza olive oil. I got a giant bottle of it for Christmas, and it has like a pop-up nozzle on it. Is that what you call it? Pour spout? So when you unscrew the cap, a pour spout pops up. It's like on a spring, and then you can pour the olive oil out very slowly. It's like a little bit too slow. Um, I started watching Bored to Death on a whim. Brian put it on. I have not watched it since it came out, which was I remember watching it in my first apartment in Williamsburg. Like it was like the same time period when Instagram first came out. So I was busy on my phone. Obviously, I wasn't paying attention to Bored to Death. Also, at that age, like I didn't know who Ted Danson was. I didn't understand. Like I don't know if I knew who Zach Galifianakis was. I only knew Jason Schwartzman because of Coconut Records bullshit. Anyway, I watched that whole show. Don't really remember it. When Brian put it on, I was like, okay, do we have to watch this? Actually, it's funny. I think it's worth a rewatch. It I don't love all the aspects of it, but I think Ted Danson is pretty funny. Zach Galifianakis is funny. Um, there was a scene where Ted Danson's character meets up with his sort of estranged daughter to reconnect with her, and he asks her how she met her new boyfriend, and she says that they met at a seance trying to contact the original designer of Fiesta Wear, which made me laugh. There are a ton of people on the show. Like every single person who comes on camera on the show, you're like, "Oh my god, that person. Oh my god." It's kind of crazy. Anyway, while we were watching that show, Brian was on his iPad looking at a website about something called the Carolina Oyster Trail. And I said, "Okay, like, does it end at the hospital? We are not doing that." And I guess that's it. I tried to keep it to about an hour. Didn't quite make it, but that's the goal. An hour seems like a reasonable amount of time to listen to a podcast. Okay, I'm gonna go. Talk to you later.